Y este evento pues tiene la finalidad de explorar cómo la adopción de estándares, la accesibilidad digital, que es un tema clave, la gestión estratégica de metadatos contribuyen a redefinir el futuro de la edición académica, técnica, universitaria. Eso es lo que buscamos en este desayuno, impulsar la colaboración, la conversación entre nosotros, la visibilidad, la inclusión, la sostenibilidad, la proyección, la distribución y la entrega de publicaciones académicas, técnicas y universitarias en un mundo totalmente hiperconectado. Y decirle, pues, Niels, welcome. Thank you very much for connecting with us and to accept our invitation to this event. For us, it's very important your participation, and obviously, you from the Directory Open Access Groups has a tremendous leadership and backup about the work that you are doing with your team. Niels Stern es el director de OAPEN, muchos de ustedes lo conocen, la fundación online que trabaja por el acceso abierto. Es codirector del DOAB, del Directorio Open Access Groups, que es un referente, quizás para todos los que trabajan en temas de acceso abierto, es un referente a nivel internacional. Niels comenzó a trabajar en la publicación de libros académicos hace más de 20 años. Además de su labor editorial, ha trabajado en la formulación de políticas con un enfoque en el acceso abierto, en el sector bibliotecario como director del Consorcio Nacional de Bibliotecas de Dinamarca. Es miembro de varias juntas y comités relacionados con la publicación académica. Creo que Niels se está conectando desde la Haya, Países Bajos. Y el microsegmento de Niels lo hemos titulado DOAB y la ruta hacia un acceso abierto con impacto global. Then, Niels, I don't know if you heard me, and welcome, and thank you very much for connecting with us. Please go ahead with your presentation. And for us, we are tremendous proud to have you with us. And Niels, good morning and good afternoon for you. Can you hear us?
Sí, muchas gracias, Jaime. Buenos días a ustedes. Estoy muy contento de esta oportunidad de presentar a ustedes, pero lo siento que mi castellano no es bastante bueno, entonces voy a hablar en inglés. So good morning, everyone, and thank you very much, Jaime, for the nice introduction, for the invitation to present at this meeting today. Obviously, I would have loved to be at the book fair in person. I also am a very big book lover, and I've been attending many book fairs during my career, but not, unfortunately, the one in Bogota. So hopefully one day I will get the chance to do so. I have prepared a presentation which I will share now. So I would hope my let's see, this one should be the right one.
We are viewing your screen. Thank you, Niels.
That's good. Thank you very much. So the title, as Jaime has put into the notes today, is about the path to open access with global impact. I'm going to focus, of course, on what we do in terms of book publishing, and I will see if I can make the slides move. Let's see. I'm not used to Google Meet, so maybe I can. Okay. Sorry, I just need to find the way to get these slides moving forward. Maybe I can do it here. Okay, yes, that's the way it works. Okay, so who are we? OAPEN and DOAB, independent, not-for-profit Dutch foundation. Since we are in the Netherlands, we are not-for-profit. Sorry, we by law, we cannot be sold or acquired. And we are guided by the principles of open scholarly infrastructure, OSI. And we have performed a self-audit against those principles to show how we are governed, to show how we are financed and to show how we manage open data and open source software. Our mission is to increase discoverability of peer-reviewed open access books and to promote trust in open access book publishing. So what do? We provide open infrastructures for open access books, and we serve publishers, libraries, research funders, and researchers by operating 3 platforms. The OAPEN library, which is a hosting platform, the Directory of Open Access Books, which is an index, and the OA Books Toolkit, which is an information resource with small articles, short articles about any given topic relating to open access book publishing. So something I can recommend you to look into. There are more than 50 articles, author stories, information about licensing, about business models, and so on. I just want to emphasize here at the beginning that when I talk about books, I talk about peer-reviewed scholarly books. So it can be monographs, edited collections, critical editions, other long-form format. But the notion of peer review is really important because this is how we ensure that the books we distribute are of high quality. We also guided by some strategic ambitions, notably the Sustainable Development Goals, in particular these 3 goals, number 4, 9, and 10, and also the UNESCO recommendations on open science. And I suppose you will get the slides afterwards, so you can, for example, have a look at our strategic plan, which is, there is a link to it here. Right, so first a few words on the OAPEN library. As I said, it's a library that is hosting books, it's distributing books, and it's preserving open access books that are peer-reviewed. So when we work, the publishers we work with, we first evaluate their peer review policies, we look at their catalogs, so it's a process, a curation process, you may call it, whereby we secure ourselves the working relationship with the publisher, and that the publisher is publishing academic books that have been quality assured. And so we make agreements with the publishers, we sign an agreement, and then we onboard the books. This year, actually, we will be celebrating the 15th anniversary of the OAPEN library at the Frankfurt Book Fair. I hope that anyone who will join the Frankfurt Book Fair will have a chance to come and visit us, and also maybe listen. We will set up a panel at the book fair to have a look at how far open access to books have come over the past 15 years, the lifetime of the OAPEN library. When we launched it in 2010, there was hardly anything happening in the space of open access and academic books, but much has happened since then. And as you can see, this is the homepage of the OAPEN library, and it has remained its mission and its way of working basically since the beginning. But many things have changed also in the back end technically, and of course many publishers have joined since then. So here you can see the evolution of the number of titles over the past 5 years. In the beginning there were very few, but then over the past 5 years we have gone up, and now we are past 40,000 titles. I should say that in the beginning we were a group of 6 university presses, all based in Europe, that wanted to promote our books open access to increase distribution. This is how the OAPEN library was developed, co-funded by the European Commission at the time. And you can see the number of publishers. We work with more than 400 publishers. We have many languages represented in the OAPEN library. Around 50% still being English, but next to that, many other languages. the distribution of licenses in OAPEN. I'm quite surprised sometimes that we have almost 1/3 of the books with a CC BY license. I'm quite happy to see the proliferation of different types of licenses. The usage is global and also increasing. And here you can see the trend. These are counter-conformant downloads. Last year we reached around 18 million counter downloads. And the usage comes from all over the world. So we see an increase year on year in the usage of the OAPEN library. For publishers that have their books with us, we provide a dashboard so that you, with monthly updates, can see where your books are being used and how much they are being downloaded, geographically, but also per title, so you can monitor the usage. We can also give title level usage data. So this is one snapshot of a book page in the OAPEN library where you can download the book and you can also view the PDF and annotate it online. But you can also, if you scroll down this page, you would get to the metrics, and there you can see a metrics widget where you can see the number of downloads for this title. You can also see it by continent and by country. Right, so whereas OAPEN is hosting the books, the PDFs or the EPUBs, the formats we get, DOAB is indexing. And as a directory, it was inspired by DOAJ, which is the directory of open access journals, but the DOAB is completely separate from DOAJ. But after we had launched OAPEN library in 2010, we thought there might be publishers who want to host their books themselves or on other platforms, but we would still want to help them increase discoverability of their books. And therefore we set up the directory to help publishers doing that. And whereas OAPEN, for OAPEN, we charge a small fee, €2 per backlist title. So that's the equivalent of $2 per backlist title. DOAB is free of charge for publishers. However, we have the same evaluation process, thorough process. When we get an application for DOAB, we go through a number of steps before we accept the publisher. And you can, on the website, if you go to that URL, you can see what the criteria are for joining DOAB. It's a fairly long list, but it's a way to share in a transparent way what you as a publisher should expect to provide us with when we evaluate your application. And we get many books into DOAB. I can now show you a few figures here. So we also have very many languages represented in DOAB. We have close to 100,000 titles now registered in DOAB, so it's fast growing. And we have around 750 publishers in DOAB. The distribution of licenses is very much the same as OAPEN, slightly more with the CC BY license, as you can see here. So in a nutshell, this is how basically OAPEN and DOAB are working. We help publishers to get their books through the different search engines, databases, library aggregators, and so on, onto the readers, notably through libraries. But as everything within in OAPEN and DOAB is fully open, so all the metadata fully open, the metadata formats we provide are free of charge. There is an open API free of charge, so anyone can get all the metadata in their preferred way without paying for it, without having to register and log in or anything like that. It's fully open. But one important aspect of this diagram, which is very simplified, of course, but is to show that we also work through commercial companies like the big library aggregators, Exlibris, EBSCO, OCLC, to help publishers also get their books into these library discovery systems. So if you're a publisher, it can be difficult to know how you get your open access books into the discovery system of a university library. And this is one way where we can help you, because we can give you, we provide these aggregation of these collections to the libraries, and they can activate them in their library discovery systems. So that's something that we can see from Clarivate, that thousands of libraries do this, and this is a way of very much promoting your open access books all over the world. So on the technical side, we have our OAPEN and DOAB hosted by CERN. We entered a partnership with the CERN data center last year. So now we have all our data with CERN, the repositories and so on. And they provide, as you can imagine, enough capacity and bandwidth to manage the growing number of downloads, the traffic through the two services. We have asked colleagues at the Curtin University Institute of Data Science to perform a technical review of OAPEN and DOAB, because as you've seen, the services are now more than 10 years old, and it's kind of like taking your car to the garage and check if everything is okay, and get things fixed if they need to be fixed. So this is basically what we're doing now. So Curtin is on our behalf consulting with key partners. They're replicating our code, they're documenting it, and they will provide us with recommendations before we upgrade to the next DSpace version, which is DSpace, which is the open source software that OAPEN and DOAB are built on. And then finally, just two more slides, then I'm done. One, which is an additional service to DOAB, which is called PRISM. And that's the peer review information service for monographs. It's something we introduced a couple of years ago to provide publishers with an opportunity to display information about the peer review process. So not the peer review itself, but the process, and to do that in a standardized way. So this was seen as, we thought of this as a way to promote transparency, to create more trust, so that publishers who put effort into actually doing proper peer review, they can also show that, because this information is then added to the metadata of the book. So as an example, here are 3 different types of peer review that has been given to us by University of Michigan Press. So just as an example, what the information that we ask for is what is being reviewed, in this case, the full text, who is performing it, so external peer reviewer, how it's being done, when, and also who is overseeing it. So these are standardized questions where the publisher basically tick boxes, and then this information can be attributed to the publisher at the publisher level, at a book series level, or at the single title level. So this is a service that we provide. It's free of charge. It's optional for the publisher. We hope that it's useful, and we see increasing number of publishers taking on this service. And then finally, one thing which is important for today's conversation, I think as well, is that DOAB has created this trusted platform network. So we work with other platforms, including the OAPEN library, but also, as you can see, Project Muse, Cielo Books in Brazil, JSTOR, Fulcrum, and so on. And this is a way to basically delegate some trust to these platforms and say, you know, our requirements for publishers, if the publishers on your platforms fulfill these requirements, then you can add them to DOAB on their behalf. And then we set up a technical workflow between the platform and DOAB to do this. And this is what we've been discussing with Hypertexto, with Jaime, and I hope we can progress this discussion. It's a way of expanding and making DOAB also more global and community-led. So with that, thank you very much for your attention, and I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Very much, Niels. Indeed, the DOAB work that you are doing for us is an inspiration, the Prince Project and other things. Alma, por favor, ayúdame si las personas que están conectadas, alguien tiene alguna pregunta para que levante la mano, y le pediría aquí a los colegas que están en sala, vamos a tener un espacio 2 preguntas, 3 preguntas. Yo estoy también que me pregunto, pero creo que los invitados son ustedes. Entonces, si alguien quiere hacer cualquier pregunta, por favor, levante su mano. ¿Alguien tiene alguna pregunta para Niels o algún comentario? En las personas que están conectadas por videollamada, ¿alguien tiene algún comentario? Arman, colabora.
Parece ser que no. Si alguien gusta levantar la mano, puede hacerlo, pero aquí todavía no hay preguntas.
Yo quisiera, mientras que alguien en esos minutos que nos quedan, quisiera hacerle una pregunta a Niels acerca de cuál puede ser, según su punto de vista, el consejo o lo que él considera para muchos editores universitarios, non-profit, sin ánimo de lucro, que tienen un poco esta dualidad, aunque no quiero usar esa palabra, entre lo que es, digamos, la distribución comercial y lo que es, evidentemente, el tremendo desarrollo del acceso abierto. Allá también está mi amigo Guillermo, por si quiere decirnos algo también, que sé que es tu especialidad. But Niels, it will be wonderful to know a little bit about maybe your vision, your advice for many publishers that are with us there. As you know, the open access initiatives in our countries, the development, the growth of the open access has increased in a wonderful way. But also some publishers need to take the decision between the commercial things about some publications and obviously the open access. What would be your advice, your personal vision for those publishers that have the interest to participate in open access projects, maybe being part of DOAB, but also that needs to define other things related with the commercial things about the publications? Are you new things, Niels? Can you review, please? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Sorry. Thank you for that question, which I think is a very good question. I think, so the reason why we made the OAPEN library in the first place was really pragmatic and pragmatic reasons, because we wanted to make sure that when we had put a lot of effort into editing and producing our books, that they were being distributed wide and far. And so to show and proof that, you know, that we were actually good at doing distribution and marketing and so on. And this is what OAPEN and what DOAB can help publishers do. Now, that said, the most publishers I talk to, they have a mixed program, right? So they do still print books, they do ebooks for sale, and then they experiment and some more and more with open access books as well. And I think these mixed models are quite common. I do think, though, in Latin America, there is maybe more experience with open access as a model than in other parts of the world. But I think experimentation is really the way forward, to see what works for you. And then when you do publish open access, then you should maximize the reach and the potential of publishing open access. And this is where we can help you. I think the directory of open access books can really make your books more visible globally, because we connect with so many libraries, we're being used so many places, and we are being acknowledged also by research funders around in the world. So I think if you have found a good model, also financially, to make your books open access, then you should definitely, in my opinion, use those channels that can help you get your books seen in the right places. And then for the rest of your catalog, you do different things, right? So I think you can have a mixed model and you can work like that. But I see a lot of experimentation now also on the business models, with publishers trying collective funding models and different types of new ways of approaching the financial aspects of book publishing. And also we see that open access often doesn't harm print sales, but it can live alongside print sales. So I think experimentation would be my advice, and then use the channels out there when you decide for open access.
Thank you, Niels. Bueno, voy a dar las gracias a Niels. También voy a hacer alguna mención sobre algunas iniciativas que estamos tratando de tener con DOAB y pues darle gracias por su participación. Niels, thank you very much for your participation, and thank you also to maintain open to hear us about some initiatives that we have from this side of the world and the work that we are doing with your team, with Jordi, some initiatives that has the interest to ingest more content, accomplishment your requirements, about your quality requirements in your directory. Thank you very much, and we expect to see you soon in any book fair, and maybe in Bogotá or Mexico, in Guadalajara book fair. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, and have a very good day. Hi.
Thank you very much, Jaime. And can I just say that last year, actually, we had 8 publishers from Latin America joining DOAB, including 5 from Colombia, and we see more publishers coming. And I'm very happy to have to talk to anyone who might be interested in knowing more. So thank you very much for inviting me today, and I wish you all a very good book fair. Thank you.
Bye bye.